Shalom, family. All right, so beautiful, beautiful. Glad everyone's make it safe and sound. So for this evening's class, we are going to begin reading the Book of Esther. Okay, and we're doing this in commemoration for the memorial of Purim. Okay, and so we'll be reading the Book of Esther. And for this reading, it's actually going to begin not within the Book of Esther, chapter 1, as the Book of Esther and the rest of Esther contained within the Apocrypha are actually written in more so of a puzzle manner. Every chapter isn't necessarily 100% in order as we read it, okay? And so I've taken the time to put it in the proper order in which we want to read it for chronological purposes, okay? And I believe the history is very important. And this will also be a breakdown of the Book of Esther itself, okay? So this will also be a breakdown of the Book of Esther. And we'll continue, most high permit, the next day. And then it's something we get to look forward to for these next couple years, to read the whole book and break down the whole book. So let's go ahead and get the rest of the chapters of the Book of Esther. And we're actually going to start with chapter 11. So the rest of the chapters of the Book of Esther, which are found neither in the Hebrew nor in the Chaldee. So this starting with chapter 11. In the 4th year of the reign of Ptolemaeus and Cleopatra, Dostheus, who said he was a priest and Levite, and Ptolemaeus, his son, brought this epistle of Purim, which they said was the same, and that Lysimachus, the son of Ptolemaeus, that was in Jerusalem, had interpreted it. In the 2nd year of the reign of Artaxerxes the Great, in the 1st day of the month, Nisan, Mordecaius, the son of Jairus, the son of Semiel, the son of Cassai, of the tribe of Benjamin, had a dream. So this is important to note, the dream that Mordecai had. Okay, will be of relevance later on within the book. So and this is also something you want to read in terms of the time. The scriptures oftentimes deal with the time in which we're dealing with, okay? This is this is the beginning of our so-called, tale, book, story, history, and our actual history. So now let's read verse 3. It said, who was a Jew and dwelt in the city of Susa, a great man, being a servitor in the king's court. So Mordecai was a great man, okay, both in terms of him being righteous and his position serving in the king's court. He was serving, as we would know it today, in the government of our enemies, of our oppressor. Verse 4, he was also one of the captives which Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, carried from Jerusalem, with Jeconiah, king of Judea, and this was his dream. So he was also a captive, meaning what? We were in captivity at this time. So, verse 5, behold, a noise of a tumult with thunder and earthquakes, and uproar on the land. This is his dream. Verse 6, and behold, 2 great dragons came forth ready to fight, and their cry was great. And at their cry all nations were prepared to battle, that they might fight against the righteous people. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish, affliction and great uproar upon the earth. Verse 9, and the whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and were ready to perish. Then they cried unto God, and upon their cry, as it were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. The light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exalted, and devoured the glorious. Verse 12. So that was the dream that Mordecai had, okay? And this dream was, in this case, a prophetic dream, something that would come in the future. Although this future wasn't going to be for some days or even weeks or even months, but a few years, okay? Sometimes you can have that. You can have a dream. It may not come to pass today, tomorrow, next week, next month, even next year. It might be several years down the line. And such was the case with the dream Mordecai had. Verse 12. Now when Mordecai, who had seen this dream and what God had determined to do, was awake, he bare this dream in mind, and until night by all means was desirous to know it. Sometimes you could be in that state. You can have a dream, but it's something, oftentimes you want to keep it in mind. It's always wise, keep it in mind. You can't always follow it because it may not always be prophetic. It may not be something that is to come to pass. It may not be anything of relevance. So it might be something you dream because you left the TV on or something that was just on your mind. But nevertheless, it's wise to just keep it in mind. And especially when it's as detailed or symbolic as this, it may very well mean something, but keep the matter in mind, okay? And you can pray and fast on it and hopefully get some understanding. Other times it'll unfold with time. Verse 12, we're going to read verse 12, and then we're going to, after that, jump back to Esther chapter 1, okay, in the Old Testament. Chapter 12, and Mordecai took his rest in the court with Gabbatha and Thara, the two eunuchs of the king and keepers of the palace. And he heard their devices and searched out their purposes and learned that they were about to lay hands upon Artaxerxes the king. And so he certified the king of them. So now this was a situation where Mordecai, he had kept company, kept room with others that also served within the king's court. But their plan was to assassinate or murder the king. Mordecai, being privy of it, overhearing the conversation, he decided, well, shoot, if they're going to murder the king, well, murder, hey, that's unlawful. You're not supposed to do that. Therefore, I'm going to inform the king, hey, these men are intending to murder you. So in letting him become privy of that information. That'll be no different than someone who worked for the government today, hey, telling the president, hey, these people are planning to assassinate you. This is the equivalent, okay? This is not something wrong to do. This is not something that's evil to let that be known. Because remember, our laws are supposed to be universal, meaning applying to all. This is the government that's going to come on the face of the earth. No different than like when King David, he committed adultery. It didn't matter that Uriah was a Hittite. He's an African and therefore it's supposed to be justified. No, the law still applies. Still got to deal right with him, even though he's one of another nation. Otherwise, we'd be no better than our oppressors if we decided to, that's an enemy. We'll steal from them. It's okay. They're not us. We'll murder them. It's okay. They're not us. That's not the way it's supposed to work. So Mordecai was being, wise in the terms of being just. He was being a just man. So now let's read on. Verse 4. And the king made a record of these things, and Mordecai also wrote thereof. So the king, he made record, but Mordecai, hey, he also made his record too to make a copy just in case these things get lost. That, hey, remember this is what I did. That's fine as well. Sometimes those things can get lost or forgotten. Verse 5, so the king commanded Mordecai to serve in the court, and for this he rewarded him. Even for this, like, hey, man, yeah, we'll promote you, help you, man. You continue to serve me. I appreciate you for that. So he was rewarded. 6, howbeit Amon, the son of Amadatha, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of the two eunuchs of the king. So now here you have a situation where Amon, he's looking, and this is Haman, he's actually looking to destroy us, okay? That's what it's dealing with. He's actually looking to destroy us and our people. So, and by that molest, it doesn't mean in a sexual way, but that's to bother, interfere with, or annoy. He was trying to interfere with our people, bother our people, disturb our people, or attack, to accost or attack, especially with the intention of assaulting. So he was trying to hurt our people. So now, from here, we're going to go to Esther chapter 1, and we'll come back to Esther chapter 13 after read Esther chapter 3. So let's go to Esther chapter 1. This is how you're supposed to read chronologically the book of Esther. Now, Esther chapter 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India over unto Ethiopia, even 120 provinces. So, which is 127 provinces. So now you have a situation. Those provinces are pretty much like these cities he's ruling over. Okay, that's the best way you can liken them to, as far as those provinces being various cities. Now, verse 2, that in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which is in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. So now in the scriptures, I always try to give you a reference point so you understand what time we're dealing with. And that's also how you do a cross analysis to know, oh, okay, this actually happened and took place before this. And then this came after. This is how you start to assemble these pieces. You start looking at the details, which generally we overlook. Many of us overlook these things at first because we don't find it relevant. Oh, okay, it was the 3rd year King Ahasuerus, and in the 126th reign of the Persians, and it's like, okay, I don't really care about that. It's not relevant until you start digging more into the history, and then you realize, oh, wait, so this actually happened. This was in the 7th year, and then this was in his 3rd year. Okay, so then you can better understand how some of the events begin to unfold, and it makes sense. Kind of like things are written in a movie at first. Certain scenes, it's like, oh, dang, this scene took place prior, and then now we're jumping forward here, and then, oh, we're going back in time. This is a flashback. We're going back here, and then, okay, now this is the current timeline. So sometimes it's the same thing when you read the scriptures, okay? So now, we're on verse 4. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. So that 180 is 180 days, okay? A score is roughly 20. 4 times, 20, that's 80, okay? So, or, yeah. So that's how you have, that score. So it's all 20. So if it's 4 score, you're always going to do that 4 times 20. 3 score, 3 times 20. That's how you generally figure that out. So now, verse 5. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. So he's having this great feast and banquet, and all of the rulers, governors, and even nobles, everyone's invited, that is of some sort of notoriety or high position or office within the whole kingdom. Verse 6, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, and purple to silver rings, and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. So the king was doing things fancy. He had royal colors, nice royal materials, nice royal, utensils and things of that nature, everything to make it as exquisite and extravagant as possible. Because this is the king. Who can do it bigger than the king? No one. The king's supposed to be able to do it the best, the biggest. So he made all this, in excellence. 8, and the drinking was according to the law. None did compel. So to let you know, the drinking was according to the law we would honor. Because the law deals with that. So it was in a place to where they weren't getting drunk, and no one was trying to force anyone to drink. Because the scriptures speak about that. You're not supposed to get drunk, nor are you supposed to force anyone to drink. So, hey, it was inviting. It was welcoming. Because you have to understand, the other nations were much closer to the Most High than what they are now and what we see. Many things they would honor, but it's always like a bag of trail mix. Yeah, we do these things, but we don't do that. No different than you go to most places, they're going to agree murder is wrong. most players are going to agree stealing is wrong. Most players are going to agree. They're going to have many laws according to scripture that they follow. Well, even then, there was so much more the so back before in older times. So now 8, and the drinking was according to the law. None did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, they should do according to every man's pleasure. So meaning like, if certain people, they want to dance, let them dance. Others, they don't, all right, you ain't got to make them. Certain people want to drink, cool, let them drink. Others, you ain't got to make them. Because sometimes some place you go, they want a certain standard. Now, here you want to make sure everybody drinking. If you can't not drink and be here. Then this ain't the place for you. He said, I want everybody to feel welcome. I want everyone to feel comfortable. That's great hospitality. That's great culture to breed as a leader. That's good. That's a good attribute. 9. Also, Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. So now, this is where another verse of reference. Vashti was the high queen at that time. She was the main queen, number one queen. Okay, king, had other concubine thing, but this is the main queen. This is the head woman in charge. Okay, Vashti the queen. So now, she made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. But she also had a celebration, which is fine. Hey, more the men, the politicians and leaders, know they're doing this thing. Let me make something for the women. And let me have something that is more to cater to us. Okay? Beautiful. That's fine. Consider it. That's fine. Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry, because remember, as we go back to verse 5, this is supposed to be a 7-day celebration, right? Because remember, every party, we used to party, all right, we just party for the day, for the night after party. Man, you read the scriptures, people, even of the other night, man, party for days. We still partying. What we doing tomorrow? What we doing the next day after that? We still turning up. Still supposed to be a beautiful thing. We just learned, hey, let's turn up right. Let's turn up righteously. Let's read on. Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagatha, Zethar, Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. So now the king, he sends his top chamberlains, I believe about 7 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I believe. Yeah. Oh, wait. Well, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the 7 chamberlains, just making sure that when I read, I might forget. So, yeah, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus. So he brought all 7 of them. Hey, man, you guys go and get the queen. He said, man, it takes 7 men to get her. Well, for multiple reasons. For one, sending these so that it's official of the king. Because remember, people lie. People try to assassinate you. People can try to assassinate the queen. So both so hey, officially, this is coming from me. The king is sending for you. Furthermore, also security. So it's official, and also you have security. Security escort, and you're also being escorted by people of royalty. Royalty being, part of higher officials. So all those things come, part of the package. So now, they're to bring Vashti. Verse 12. So in the course of verse 10, he wanted to bring the queen, and he wanted to present her before the people, because this is a beautiful woman, and this is the queen. This is, she's my queen, my wife, and I want to show her before the people, make her presence. That's fine. Verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. So this is another pivotal scripture. This is a problem now. So therefore, was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So the king was upset because his chamberlains come back, and who knows how far they had to walk to get her, but they come back, and it's like, man, it's time like, hey, where the queen at? Hey, she said she didn't want to come. What? she don't want to come. What's going on? Man, she said she was busy having a good time. She didn't want to be bothered, and she's like, I hope you understand and things. Man, I sent for her. I'm having a party. I want to show her before the people, and even could have been more than maybe she didn't want to be shown as some type of trophy or be honored in that type of way, what so have you. But yet and still, this was a problem for the king, but not only the king only. And let's read and understand perspective, okay? Because even if she may not have wanted to come, there's still a responsibility to show yourself in terms of, hey, that royal presence. It's not always about what it is that you want at the time. So, and then understanding your position, there's power and responsibility that comes with it. And that can work for you and against you at the same time. And in this case, we'll see how it worked against her. Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. So now, grab his senators. He grabbed, hey, let me talk to these wise men. Let me get counsel. As a king, it's important to have counsel. It's important to have advice for any king, any ruler. I may be in the position of power, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have to think, plan, and make all the decisions. No, I can come together collectively with the council to be able to say, hey, how should these things be done? Even the Most High is a council in heaven that he chooses to delegate and have a form of democracy, so to speak, and offer different opinions, at times with the angel that he created. Doesn't have to, but he chooses to. So you read that in the scriptures. So now the king's doing the same. Verse 14. And the next unto him was Karshena, Jether, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsanah, and Milmican, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. So this is his next in line of leaders. Okay, he had 7 leaders after him. These are the next people in charge that help him oversee and rule. He's counseling with them. He's counseling with his leadership, his highest officials. So, 15. What shall we do unto Queen Vashti according to law? Because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. So now it's saying like, man, what should we do? How should we handle this situation? You may think, man, it's something small. The queen just didn't want to come. But here's the thing. You have to understand the queen. You forget what prefaces that whole situation. This wasn't a commoner. It wasn't just anybody. The queen refused to come at the king's commandment. Those are big power words, both of them. There's responsibility with it. 16. And Mumican answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. So understanding, this was bigger than just the queen saying no to the king. That at the king's commandment, that's a disrespect to his authority and what he stands for, and us the people, we're subject unto him. We're supposed to be. The queen included. You're the queen, but yeah, that's still your king. He's your husband, but guess what? He's also your leader. At times, our women can forget that. You can forget, yeah, your husband, you see his dirty drawers, you deal with all his yeah, you got the pro, but you deal with all the cons. You see everything behind closed doors. And that can cause you to lack value or respect for him. But you still have to remember his role or position. Need that be husband, father, leader. You still have to put respect on his name, regardless of how you feel in the moment. There's still order that has to be followed, and they understood that and knew that. And they also understood other things. Let's continue on. Influence. Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. So they understood in wisdom the fallout of what this could lead to. That again, influence, this is the golden age for influence. Everyone wants to be influencer, right? But yet and still, well, not everyone, many people, but yet and still, everyone has to think about the responsibility that comes with that. What are you influencing people to do? What are you there as a leader encouraging people to do? And in this case, and it's not just about everything it is you do. Sometimes it's things you don't do. You should be doing this, but you're not. You should be speaking on this, but you're not. That can also be a problem. The queen should have obeyed. Even if she didn't feel like, all right, cool, I know, man, I don't want to. Man, all right, here I come. Let me get ready. Just give me a minute. I'll be there. Let me just get these things ready and let it be known. Even if she had her function and thing, but hey, the king's function took precedence. That's what you also have to understand too. You got your own thing going on, but remember when your leader calls, hey, his word take precedence. It overrides what you got going on. That's order. All right, let me take a pause from this so I can take care of this. That's what I have. That's part of my responsibility. Unless it's understood, it's okay if I handle this first and then, all right, I can do what in this case, what's asked of me. So remember, even other nations, they understood law and order and how a household should righteously be ran in many ways. And this is part of it, in understanding many things that are good in terms of how a kingdom should be ran. Doesn't mean they did everything, but anything they did understand, and this being one of them. Okay? So understand in verse 17, which is another pivotal scripture, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women. They're going to hear about this. They're going to find this information out, what Queen Vashti did, so that they shall despise their husband in their eyes. Well, shoot, if the queen, she could say no to the king, you think I got to listen to this nigga? That's how they feel. Apologize anyone is offended with the word, but for effect, that's how it can spread that he like wildfire. Queen ain't gotta listen to king. You ain't no king. You ain't a king. I ain't gotta listen to you. You over here, you just a butcher at the shop down the street. Why I gotta listen to you? Want me to come here? Want me to wake up, make him something to eat? You start feeling like that. That's part of the influence that they did not want in their kingdom, coming from the top down. They can't have that coming from the top down. It will cause the nation to fall apart, which lets you know a true nation has care and concern with how the households are being ran and the influence of leadership from top down in terms of the household and family dynamic. Because if you destroy the family dynamic and household, you're not going to have a nation. It's going to mess up everything. You're not going to have, if the household is out of order, you're not even going to have men able to function and do the jobs they need to do. You're going to have chaos. Because you're either going to have men over here in tears, men over here depressed out of their mind, men over here ready to commit suicide. Our army is in shambles from the inside out. Shambles, just that fast. Men can't show up, having house problems and issues, all types of problems just from this. They couldn't afford the fallout. Too grievous. This is the responsibility. Again, like the saying goes, which is true, as Christ said, hey, too much is given, much is required. It's part of the process. So now, verse 18, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. They said, man, it's going to be too much chaos, too many problems from this. We can't have, we need to snuff this out now. Put this fire out before it even begin. When sparks start forming and hey, before this even get big, nah, let's put this out. We can't have this. That's why. That's wisdom. So I definitely agree and concur because you can have issues. So And anyone who doesn't see that, man, you blind. So you got to see the bigger picture. 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the law of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. They said, look, with the level of this, she can't be queen. Nah, she can't sit in that seat. She can't be headed in this way. We got to remove her and find a woman that is going to perform the role of a queen better. Hey, that's like, hey, even the Most High do that. You got a woman, she's not trying to move according to thus saith the Lord. She's not trying to move in order of the scriptures. The Most High, if you're a just man, you're a righteous man, the Most High in due season will remove her. Have her remove herself. So, fall out of the faith, commit adultery, go further and further left until she's eventually in the world. Hey, Most High in due season will bring you someone that will be compatible, that will be righteous. So, Most High do that. And it's not just one-sided. Oh, he reversed it and do it for me. You got a man that's wicked. Hey, if you righteous as a woman, eventually move him out of the way. Hey, Abigail in the ball. So it happens both ways, but in due season on the Most High's time. Because you swing that sword, you don't want to get hit. You're over looking at your spouse and you a reflection of them. Most High like, man, I swing, it's going to get both of y'all. So get yourself right. Let's continue. Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, meaning his empire was great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. Because that's the thing that you don't see in this day and age. In this day and age, more of our women have a mentality, I will respect you according to how great you are. Well, nah, it ain't supposed to be indicative on how big his pocketbook is, how great of a position or job he has. Him being a good man is what it's based off of. Okay? You got to give that respect. It don't matter if he work as a lawyer, doctor, or if he work as a janitor or a burger flipper. It's the same level of honor and respect. It's the same level. Don't matter if he making $100 an hour or $10 an hour. It's the same level of respect and honor unto that man. They made sure of that. They made sure, hey, honor him. Because they understood that's what's going to build a nation. That's what's going to empower your people. It shouldn't be a situation where, okay, well, it's a measuring stick contest. Nah, hey, we got to make sure, regardless if he in a great position, government official, noble, or if he just the butcher down the street, he's respected in his household. So unless that man is really breaking laws, left and right, with okay, we'll deal with that because now there's a reason. But unless he breaking laws, hey, man is to be honored and respected. That's the type of government they had set up, and that is beautiful. That's something we have to keep in mind and work to bring our mind and spirit into subjection with that, knowing that that is honorable and that is good. So let's continue. Verse 21. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. Because they also had, at times a mixed multitude of people from different ethnic backgrounds, people of different nations, and people that spoke other languages. They said, look, we want this to be not only just for our people, which is another thing of leadership, which, hey, the scripture the same way. Hey, this is for everybody. It applies to everybody. So they weren't even pushing as what, you see with Esau and America, other places today where I want to make sure our people good. We don't care about what they do. They understood, no, this has to be universal. Otherwise, the spillover will affect us and our people. Nah, we can't have that, because that's what you're seeing now. And that's why even other nations, they get mad at America now, because the spillover. You allow your people to do this, our people start looking and they start wanting to go in the same direction. They understood, nah, if you let that influence, and the scriptures speak about that in Proverbs chapter 12, I believe verse 26. The righteous and more excellent is there, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. Start getting seduced. They said, nah. If we just shut it down with our people, the other nations, they can begin to seduce our people. So now we don't need the other women, the other nations influencing our people, slowly but surely crumbling our people and our government. Nah. We got it. All people, all men should have rule. If your husband is saying this, listen. Why is there argument or a problem? Your husband is speaking. Your husband is not your equal. The scriptures do not speak 50-50. Your husband is your head. Your children are not your equals. You are the head over them. Shouldn't be a problem. There's order, there's structure. Husband is first. Wife is second in command. Children come after. Your husband says something. If he's not, is he breaking? Is he trying to murder you? Is he out robbing? And is he doing things that are against the law? Is it a problem? Is he doing something that is not right? Then listen to him. And if there's a problem, you guys should be able to discuss it civilly and reach a solution. That's the thing. They were putting everything in writing that, hey, this is the decree that you guys need to understand, that as far as all those, he said it with all the cities, the whole government, that's like the president speaking for the whole United States, hey, everyone needs to move according to this. This is law now. This is the issue. If there's a problem, hey, because guess what? They had it too. Hey, we will arrest you. Wife, hey, out of order, hey, arrest her. She ain't moving right until she learned to act like a wife. There's a difference. Household got to be in order. We're building a nation made with a husband and a wife, or wives. You have to be in order. There's a difference, and that's what it is that they're bringing forth, and that is good. So now, let's get chapter 2. After these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, because he was upset, highly upset, they snuffed this out with prejudice. They push it. All men must understand that they abide as leaders of their household. Their wives should be in subjection along with their children, and that if there are any issues, you have order of the king to bring forth such woman at once. Like, man, making it real. Because remember, they wrote a whole decree. All done because of making sure these things are crystal clear. Men, do you understand of the nation? Everything, do you understand this? Yes. Women, do you understand? Yes, this is law. To govern and guide the people. That's leadership. Just leadership. So, continuing on in Esther chapter 2, verse 1. So he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Verse 2. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hege, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. So now, situate understanding, like, look, king needs to find a good woman. Let's look out women who are young, beautiful, and have not laid with man, to find an adequate woman for the king. This one may be in their 20s, may be in their 30s, even possibly their 40s, that, hey, trying to find women that are good for the king. So now, because remember, hey, it was, Jacob And his wife, they was 40 when they married. Hey, she was a virgin. Hey, you have that. So now, and they remember, shoot, 40 ain't old. You still young. So you still in the prime of your youth. So verse 4, it says, please let the maiden which pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. He said, all right, let me find someone. But there's still a regiment. Verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. Okay, this is what we're finding out. He was a Benjamite. We're getting, again, going back to Mordecai. He's being brought back into the picture because we heard about his affairs prior. Verse 6, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away from Jeconiah, king of Judah, when Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. Verse 7, and he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. This is where Esther comes into the picture, makes her debut. His uncle's daughter. Okay, his uncle's daughter. They were cousins. Okay, your uncle as a child, that's your cousin. Okay. So now it's a situation where there is an age gap. Some of us have big cousins. I got cousins alive to now. Shoot, I'm in my 30s, cousin in his 60s. Another cousin in his 70s. So you have that at times with cousins. So cousins that are old enough to be your father, or mother. You have that. So now, Hadassah is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful. So Esther had lost her parents. So it was, Mordecai, he stepped up and became a parent, unto her that, hey, I'm going to choose to adopt you and further raise you and take you as a daughter unto myself. So Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So they could have died in various ways. They could have died in the captivity or an accident or something. You never know. Could have been a tornado or earthquake. You never know. But yet and still, Mordecai raised her daughter. She could have lost her parents, and she could have been 10 years old. And he's been raising her for the past, 15, 20 years. So who knows? So now, verse 8. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace to the custody of Hegai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Hegai, keeper of the women. So Mordecai, he brought, Esther as well. That, the king is gathering young women to find someone to be an adequate queen. I believe this will be something that can be a good opportunity for you to be in a position where you could be a benefit unto your people. Normally, we wouldn't, try to marry one of the other nations, but this can put you in a space to where you can have influence and possibly bring forth change for your people. And, this could be a real political advantage. That's how Mordecai was looking at it. That, this could be of good unto your people. So not just something good just for you. Oh, you go marry and go live a great life and do you. He wasn't thinking that way. These are the types of conversations he was having because, Mordecai, he was a just man. He was a righteous man. So much so, he has his own day of celebration. So we're reading the history as to what made this man to be honorable. And even, the woman he helped raise from a young age that, making her honorable. And his teaching and tutelage unto her. Let's read. Let's find out. So now, verse 9. Yeah, I read 8, right? Okay. So, verse 9. And the maiden pleased him. And she obtained kindness of him. And he speedily gave her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maidens unto the best place of the house of the women. So now you have a situation where Esther is given all of the ointments, oils, lotions, perfumes, makeup for her to adorn her outer apparel to be as eloquent and beautiful as possible for the king, and even giving her, because now she's coming into royal palace and she's in a place of privilege now among the royal court. Now she gets 7 maidens. Before she didn't have that. Now she has that. She has 7 maidens or attendants that, hey, when she needs something, excuse me, may you find me a dress to wear for tomorrow's occasion? And excuse me, may you prepare, my bath for this evening? Excuse me, may you prepare, these perfumes, I really like these. She's receiving that treatment now. And she receives so much favor that when they saw her, and because remember, them meeting her wasn't just about her outer appearance, but how she carried herself, the package. Man, this woman, she's beautiful. She's so well spoken. I love the way that she speaks. She has good mannerisms. She's shamefaced. I like, man, prepare the best for her. Yeah, get, hey, these are some great maidens here. Hey, these will be your maidens. Like, they're seeing that, which also lets you know how you want to be as a woman, how you want to carry yourself. You want people to view you in the same way, that they prefer you. You want people to prefer you in whatever realm you step in. I got to get with her. Man, yeah, man, if I'm going to have anyone work as my secretary, her. I'm have anyone work at the front desk reception? Her. Have anyone work in customer service? Her. You want that. You want that to be the standard across the board. Wherever you go, hey, people prefer you. This is something to take note in terms of her character and how she carried herself and presented herself. She couldn't just go out. No, if she was up there just, y'all ain't even got the good stuff up here. I'm just, hey, yeah, give me some of that. Give me some. She's up there. I'm sorry. You must be lost. We're looking, for maidens. Maybe there's a place back there you can, help out with. Next, yeah, she's good. They're just gonna overlook you. She knew how to go in and out before the people. She knew how to conduct herself. That has to be taught and trained into somebody, or they have to start looking around and noticing, oh shoot, I need to train. I need to take my teeth out. And how do you do? Start learning how to talk to people. You got to learn that. Learn when to talk, when to shut up. Okay, let me be quiet and wait here. Show myself to be quiet, not nagging. Got to learn how to be. This is something that you have to embrace. This is part of your culture and these teachings. These are things you need to teach your children this day and age. When you learn, and these are the Bible teach you how to teach, what things to teach your kids. If you learn how to chew the meat, and get all the meat off the bone, say, hey, this is how you need to, and then eloquence, knowing how to carry, how to dress, how to act, how to talk. Nah, that's too much makeup. Not that much. Nah, that's too much perfume. Not that much. Yeah, that's enough. Don't go out with your skin all dry and cracked. You got elbows ashier than mine. Nah, lotion up. Look feminine. Women today got to learn how to be feminine. Now that's a masculine attribute. That's a feminine attribute. Yeah, be more like that. Teach women how to be women. This is part of that. It makes a difference. That can be different between you getting hired or fired from your job. Oh, here we'll hire. Here we'll promote you. Here, we're gonna overlook you. I see how she carry herself. We don't want that here. Even without you speaking, we see, look at that, she all jacked up. And dress ain't even on right. Skirt ain't even on right. Skirt too short. She ain't even got matching socks on. Golly. Got holes in her leg. Next. So now, continuing on, verse 10. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. So Mordecai used wisdom because understanding, hey, look, not everybody loves our people. You don't have to tell them. your full background and everything. Some of those things is, hey, if it comes up, okay, cool. But don't go on there trying to announce all these things. Just, hey, blend in because, there's other nations that look similar to us, that, hey, just go in and let your character show. Because there's also other, because also it's known, hey, some people hate us. There's racism in there. So, hey, it's all right. Some people don't like us. You ain't got to let it be known. Let your character and your virtue speak for you. So now when they see your good fruit, then they'll see, oh, dang, you one of them, man. They start thinking even better of your people if they thought worse of your people. That's sometimes how you can win favor too. It's like, all right, let that be revealed in due season. So that's wise. 11. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Now, see, that's a father right there. Wasn't her biological, dad, but hey, he took on the role of a father and took it on seriously. You can have that, and some of you, hey, you might adopt in that way. Others, you might become a step-parent, a stepfather, stepmother, but you take that role seriously. Sometimes you may not even have children of your own yet, but hey, I take these children on as my own, and I care for them as my own, and I look to their upbringing. Mordecai didn't have any kids. You don't read about him having a spouse either. Hey, just me, single. I ain't trying to mingle, but hey, I'm single, and hey, I adopted this as my daughter, and hey, I'm looking after her every day. And he had a job. He had a job in the court. He worked in the government. Guess what? After his government job, what did he do? Went to go check on his adopted daughter, his cousin. Make sure she's doing all right. Okay, yeah. Let me just see what's going on, and all right, yeah, she's doing good. Making sure she's operating according to the virtue in which I instilled in her. I want to make sure she all right. She ain't acting a fool of herself. She ain't going out and embarrassing me and her family, her pedigree. Making sure, hey, we try to keep a good name, especially as Benjamites, especially when we had a history at times having a bad name. But now I want to make sure because, hey, it's a choice to become noble. You can choose to become a noble. It starts with here, your mentality. Then it's how you speak and how you act. I'm choosing to take on more nobility, and I'm trying to become better than what my parents or forefathers were. You can make that choice and make that change. Be that change you want to see. He's doing it. So, verse 12. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that, she had been 12 months, that's a year, 12 months, according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. So, hey, they gave them time to get themselves together. Gave them a year of courting. A year, and that courting was still, even outside of the king's presence, you learning to be not only just a wife of royalty. You have to carry yourself completely different. Not all these women came from the same background. And even with certain good upbringing, you still have to know, hey, you sometimes you see that in movies. Sometimes you see people come from different walks of life. Some, they were raised in nobility. Some, they were raised, trained and moving a certain way. They were trained. They were groomed. Others may not have been groomed. You can have mixtures that, hey, regardless, everyone's going through the process. Hey, the excellent, they'll rise to the top. The other one, they're going to fall to the bottom. We'll see how things come out. Hey, going through these process, learning what oils go. Yeah, that's a good oil for you. Them oils ain't going to work. Oh, these the oils you like? But the king likes these. Or, oh, you know what? These go better with you. Oh, you know what? Wear your hair like this. Oh, that hairstyle's not as good as it look on you. You like it, but it doesn't look as good on you. So you got to think, do you really want to do that? You really want to be here? Is it about you now, or is it about him? Okay, there we go. About him now. So that's a better hairstyle for, those hairpins? No. These hairpins. These are the better selection. That dress, maybe for the streets, but this one, yeah, that one's good. Okay, now we're talking bedroom attire. These are better. See this veil? things, soft touch, that's when you wear it. Nope, don't wear it like that. See, drape it around this way. Yep, that's how you walk. That's how you walk. Tiptoe to the bedroom. There you go. They got to learn how to love the king. They got to learn how to love a husband. They have to learn how to be a wife and how to be a royal wife. That takes time. They didn't take that lightly. They have to take it to where if you didn't know how to be a wife, you're going to learn in a year. School is in session. Nope, don't eat like that. Pick up your fork like this. Nope, that's man hand. Don't pick it up. No. Grab it this way. Move your hand. Good. Slide it between here. Good. That's good. Oh, nope. That meat, too big to put in your mouth like that. Cut it. Yep, cut it. Take the knife. Cut it into smaller portions. Smaller. There you go. Perfect bite size. That's a feminine bite size right there. Perfect for a queen. But I like to eat it. Nope. Again, we're training wife now, honey. Wife. Not that other stuff. You need to learn how to be a wife. Wives don't eat like that. Okay? They don't eat like, they don't do that. Oh, your nails? I'm sorry. You see that under there? That can't do. Clean them. Clean those. Yes, before supper, make sure they're clean. Keep them clean. It should be a routine. You clean your nails every other day. Yeah, every other day. Well, I used to only do it after every 2 weeks. Not anymore. Every other day, you make sure they're clean. You make sure you get all the net. Use this. This is a good tool. These are all the things they're learning. Some people just think, all right, they just, purified. These are all the parts of purification is clean. They got to clean everything, top to bottom. Everything got to be in order. You're doing this for royalty, not just a wife of anybody. You ain't marrying lottie-dottie anybody. You being not only a wife, royal wife. You have to learn how to be. We take that for granted. These are things we're not even always thinking about. Many of them, there's a disconnect. But this is how it is that they took these things seriously, okay? I said for 12 months, and this is painting a picture. Like, dang, what all was they doing for 12 months? It was everything they was going through. These are things you need to be teaching your daughter. These are things you need to learn. You need to learn now. You need to start taking class, watching some people that know, hey, all right, let me learn how to eat like this. Let me learn how to be like this. This is righteousness right here. They understood this, and this is part of what allowed the Purim to prosper as a people, because they understood how to be civil, how to deal with how things should be ran. And they took that grooming seriously. Today, we don't take it seriously. Hey, just go out there, you find somebody that like you for who you are. Instead of setting a standard, no, this is how you should conduct yourself to be a good wife, to be a good woman. Train them to be that way. So then that way they'll have good success. Need you marry somebody again that marry $100 or that make $100 an hour or make 50, 30, 20, 10. You're going to be a good wife. Because then that's going to be good reflection on us. So man be like, dang, they don't make women like this. Where they make that one? Man, and that wife, he'd go above and beyond for that woman. It should encourage that. A good wife should encourage a man to go above and beyond because of what she brings to the table. And the biggest thing she's bringing is herself renewed in this manner. This is a wife. That Proverbs 31 woman, this is part of it. This is everything she's bringing in common. Like, nah, I got me a wife. I got me a good wife. She do this, she do that. That man will talk up and down, sing that woman's praises. Like, what you need, baby? If it's within my power, I can do it. If I try to figure it out, I'm gonna give it to you. So, with that, with time, we'll go ahead and we'll end it here with Esther chapter 2 and verse 12. Most of when you guys can reflect, more on this and reflect on these are all the things that part of making Esther great, especially because she had a head start through her own, family, that she came in and just was moving in excellence, moving in just a high level of virtue and character. Like, man, so when you already on your A game, it's like, man, I got this. And she's coming in with the mindset, hey, I'm in it to win it. I'm in here to perform, Not putting on faith, but now I'm here to move in excellence because this is bigger than me. I'm representing my deceased parents and the upbringing they instilled with me for the years I was able to know them, and the upbringing of my cousin who adopted me as his daughter, and having the Most High behind my back and the excellency of my people, my heritage. When they find who I am, like, man, this is how your people move. Like, dang, that's what the Most High wants. He wants our people to be noble, honorable. This is the beauty he wants for our people. And you got to understand that. So pray that resonates with your spirit. Most High willing, will continue the reading and breakdown of the Book of Esther, in the spirit of Purim. And Most High willing, will continue that tomorrow evening. So with that, I say shalom.